it's like coming across a musician and they play or sing or do something, and you're like you're at a party or something, or camp out or something like that. I mean, I don't know, whatever. And somebody's like, oh, I'm a musician. Oh. And they start playing something, and you're like, no, you got your fingers in the right place, and you know the words, but I think we're going to need to redefine musician here.
Right. It's being used kind of loosely.
Right? It's so I'm saying that with business coach too,
Right.
I suppose. But business coaching 101 is, okay, so we ought to figure out better ways of doing things and then develop a better operating system. So we have an operating system. I'm going to call this operating system 1.0. And this is Einstein going, that way of thinking that got you here into the mess isn't going to get you out. All right. So operating system 1.0, which is here's how we're going to manage and hire and sell and produce and measure if we got the work, did the work, and got paid for the work. Here's how we're going to do that. Well, it's not working very well. It's working okay. It got you to this point, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, 2 million, 1 million, whatever. But it's not getting you off of that point. All right, so we need operating system 2.0. We need a different operating system. And all we're saying in an operating system is, here's how we're going to make decisions. Here's how we're going to, here's who we are. Here's our culture. We're going to write that down and execute against it, hire and fire against it. Hey, here's why we're doing this. Some sort of real purpose, stated, spoken, meaningful purpose, not fake. So a lot of times people go, we're about the children. Like, no, actually, you're about the money. So you should start telling the truth about that. Now, well, if we do, everybody will leave. Well, they're leaving anyway. I mean, they're going, so you got a culture where you're going, yeah, you're lying. And that's our operating system. All right. Or, and you see this all the time in institutions, or big, institutions are corporations, big ones. Enron, one of their core values was integrity. Right? Like, not so much.
I know.
Right? So, and like their actual core values were really, 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 really different.
We probably can't say them right now.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they're paying the penalty for some. Some are paying the penalty for some of their actual core values. But that's the point, is operating system 2.0 is, well, let's figure out what our actual, and when you say core, so let me back up. So core values,
Right. Yeah.
and we could talk about this for a week.
Right.
But core values are, just take that word. So I'll have a client in a meeting blow through, like, steamroll one of their core values. I don't know. Let's say it's integrity. I don't know. Just to come up with one, which is not a good idea for a core value. Just saying. All right. And there's a lot of great reasons for that. And those of you that are wondering about that ought to read The Advantage by Pat Lencioni.
Great book.
Fabulous. So, in a session, and it is clear that integrity is not one of their core values, that they're, covering up or lying about something, or trying to, PR something to death. One of the things I like to do is say, well, let's get out your dictionaries. All right, now let's look up the word core. Because we forget, like, we just gloss over meanings of words. Core. So we look up the word core. So we have something we value deeply that's at the core of us. That's not integrity. Or you would have handled this differently.
Right.
Like, your core value is look good and sound good. If you're trying to PR something to death, your core value is don't look like an idiot. That's way more important to you. Now, I don't like working with people like that. I don't think anybody else does either,
right,
unless they're in the Hollywood scene as well. And they're like, well, gimme. Okay, well, sounds awful. I'd rather do something else, right? So anyway, the point is, we got to write down, hey, here's who we are. This operating system 2.0. And execute against it. Hey, this is why we exist. And it's not money. Well, if it is money, write it down. And then you'll unearth some root issues. Which is like, oh, no wonder we're a backstabbing, money-grubbing organization. Yeah, because that's what we're all about, you know?
Might want to change that.
Yeah. And now you want to, if you want to make it nice and clear, like, hey, we're cover your butt, looking up for number one, me. That's how we are around here. Okay.
At least they're honest about it.
I think I left my oven on. You know, like, I'm going to go do something else.
Right.
But be honest about it. That will help, you know, clarify things. So, but anyway, we'll write down who we are, why we're doing this. Third thing is, what is it we're doing? And that's our strategy, our niche, our strategic niche, like that thing. Hey, we do this one thing. And it's not, you know, make widgets. It's something else. Like we make people, so the iPhone, for example, if you said, hey, Apple, what do? We make iPhones. We're a technology company. And it's like, no, they make people's lives better through technology. I mean, that's probably something that they actually try to do. And that's what got them, mixed with some other things, to the top. Now, will I keep it there? I don't know. But, and another great kind of resource around this is Good to Great. Good to Great by Jim Collins. He does a great job of kind of popping the lid on, hey, why did these guys get awesome and these guys didn't? And some of it's around, these guys had a clear way of talking about their culture. These guys had a clear way of putting purpose up in front of dollars. These guys had a clear way of saying, hey, this is what we do. And hiring and firing and managing around those things. So those are three. This is operating system 2.0. Fourth one is, where are we going? Like, hey, boss, when I sign up for this job, are we going anywhere? Or are we just going to paddle around in circles all day and call it a day? And bring her, you know, take the ship out into the harbor, and we're going to go around a big circle and then come back in.
Dock it.
Well, that's nice if it's like a party boat and we're going to do that like on the 4th of July or something. Okay. Or go water skiing or something. Okay. But every day, that's my day job? Well, I guess if you're the captain of a party boat, okay. But that's not what we're doing with these businesses. We're trying to go somewhere. So you got to write down, where is it? 25 million. Oh, that's not compelling unless you're the owner. So imagine if you're the owner of a baseball team and you're like, hey, I got a vision. What is it? I'm going to make this baseball team worth $1 billion.
I'm going to put it all in my pocket.
Yeah, and so come be my catcher. And the catcher's like, well, that's not my vision. Right?
Right.
And then it's instantly like, oh, this is watch out for number one, all about the money kind of business? Uh-huh. Well, then I want more to be your catcher. I want more money at this, right? And that's not a vision. That's a contest or something. Okay, and maybe people want that. But that's not like what a healthy organization looks like. We know that.
Right.
So, all right. So the fifth thing is, how are we going to get there? So who are we? Why are we doing this? What are we doing? Where are we going? So nice, crisp, little kind of compelling vision. And then how are we going to do that? How are we going to execute on that day in and day out? And that's the question you're really asking then is, so you figure something out here. Well, now what are you going to do about it? How do you turn that into a deliverable? Or how do you get that into here's how we're going to operate differently now? So one of the easy buttons is what we call a rock. And this is, what's his name? I always forget his name. Stephen Covey.
Yeah.
In his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he says, hey, there's something I noticed about effective people. There's all these effective people out there. And he went around, and this is just a real quick summary. He went around and like, look how effective that guy is. Well, he does these things. And he's like, look at that guy. Or this gal. Or this gal. Right? And he goes, oh my gosh. They have these 7 things in common. All right, so it's like, that's a cheap epiphany. Like, oh, well, maybe I should adopt some of those. There's a great video on YouTube about, it shows him talking about rocks. All right, so
We post that in several places on our.
yeah. You can hunt around and find a link somewhere in our stuff.
Perhaps I'll put a link below
Perhaps there.
on this video.
And so the key is, what are those things that I ought to be doing that change things? And the rest of the stuff, make that come second, or later or whatever. And what's his name? Covey makes a great case for that. And he has this great little video teaching around what he calls rocks. And we need to have an operating system where you go, hey, what are the 3 or 4 priorities let's just say this month for the business?